Elizabeth to have her child, she gave birth to a son. Her neighbors and relatives heard that the Lord had shown his great mercy towards her, and they rejoiced with her. When they came on the 8th day to circumcise the child, they were going to call him Zechariah after his father. But his mother said in reply, "No, he will be called John." But they answered her, "There is no one among your relatives who has this name." So they made signs, asking his father what he wished him to be called. He asked for a tablet and wrote, "John is his name." And all were amazed. Immediately his mouth was opened, his tongue freed, and he spoke blessing of God. Then fear came upon all the neighbors, and all these matters were discussed throughout the hill country of Judea. All who heard these things took them to heart, saying, "What then will this child be? For surely the hand of the Lord was with him." The child grew and became strong in spirit, and he was in the desert until the day of his manifestation of Israel. The Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ.
Please be seated. In the movie Bull Durham, the title character is a professional baseball player, the catcher. And he spent almost his entire career in the minor leagues. Now, this movie is loosely based on a real-life person who spent almost 14 years in the minor leagues. That's 14 years of 5-hour bus rides, eating at McDonald's, rooming with one of your teammates in Motel 6, and getting paid about a tenth the salary of a major league player. In an article I read about this man, he said his burning question throughout his entire playing career is, why had they kept me around so long? Well, when he finally retired, he planned a small gathering for his family and a few of the players he'd made friends with over the years. Well, to his surprise, quite a few major league players showed up. He couldn't believe it. He was amazed that they even remembered him, let alone would take time out of their busy life and schedules to attend his retirement celebration. When they were interviewed, they said the reason they came was to pay respect and honor to the person that was most responsible for their all-star careers. So he finally had his question answered. It wasn't his hitting ability or his defensive skills. It was his innate ability to bring out the maximum potential in these young players. A general manager that was there said that even though he had hardly played any time in the major leagues, he was the most valuable player that the organization had. In the first reading, Isaiah is going through pretty much the same as this ball player, asking the Lord, why have you kept me around for so many years? Everything I've done, he seems like, has been in vain, to no avail. He thinks he has used up all of his strength and all of his energy. But then as he reflects further, he finally realizes that his reward is not going to be here on earth, but in heaven. In another movie I recently watched called Moneyball. Now, you've probably all seen it. This is about a real-life person by the name of Billy Beane. He was drafted to play Major League Baseball in 1980. And he was labeled a can't-miss player, as he was thought to have all the tools to make an immediate impact on the game. He wasn't going to spend much or any time in the minors. All the scouts that saw him were convinced that he was a future Hall of Fame player. But, as it turns out, he didn't live up to the expectations of these scouts and had a pretty mediocre career. And what he did, he moved into the front office of the Oakland Athletics and became their general manager. And that's where his talents and gifts came through. He was a behind-the-scenes person that was able to get the right players at the right time for his team. And he led the Oakland Athletics to several playoff appearances. In the gospel reading, John the Baptist is considered pretty much the same as Billy Beane. Even as he was in his mother's womb, before he even took his first breath, people were saying how great he was going to be. Well, when he grew up, he told people, hey, look it, I'm not the all-star that you think I am. I'm just the setup man for the superstar that's to come. When I went through these readings and these movies, two phrases came to mind: ego retention and ego surrender. Now, Isaiah, he was kind of like the player in Bull Durham. He completely surrendered his ego for a greater good. Now, he could have told the people of Israel, hey, look at me, get the spotlight over here on me. The Lord has chosen me to proclaim His word. I'm something special. But he never did that, never even thought that. I want to think that when Isaiah had his retirement celebration in heaven, that he too finally understood how many lives he had impacted on earth in a positive way. Same with John the Baptist. Father Mike already alluded to that. Everywhere he went, people were saying, you must be the chosen one. Obviously, you're the chosen one. He always had people hanging around him trying to touch him. It must have been kind of like today's rock stars, and we know what kind of ego they have, right? But John the Baptist, he led a very simplistic life, completely surrendering his ego, never letting it get in the way. A good example of that is when he said that he was not even unworthy to untie the strap of